lost and I know where to go now. I don't really have a place to call my home now. Everybody hating on the physical now. Why do everybody make me feel alone? Like I'm trying lost and I know where to go now. I don't really have a place to.
The new announced Genins, known as Naruto and Fu, were currently wearing Hawaiian aprons and had a few spots of paint on their clothes, and a few had managed to get on their clothes. Hey Brad, you missed a spot, a male said, looking at the green haired female that was currently on the ladder. Where? Fu asked, looking at the male. When she asked this, the male smiled and took the water house that he had been holding and sprayed it the side of the house with some paint that was at the moment still wet. There, Mel said with a slight chuckle. Fu sighed and looked at the spot that Mel had sprayed at. Moved the ladder that she had been on over to the spot. Naruto grit his teeth when he saw this, but decided to say nothing. Fu placed the ladder beside the spot that she had just painted over and started to replace the clothes that she had done. The man looked like he was going to spray Fu with the house until a door behind the male opened. Sir, you have a call. A white hair male that formed the third Genin of the team 12 said as he walked through the door. Shiro, at the moment, was wearing a very formal suit and a hat. It instantly because it reminds him of when he had to go attend a meeting with his father. All right, the male said as he walking into the house. Fu then sighed and looked at the wall. Maybe if I get this done quickly, I can help Naruto with his side of the house. Fu thought as she began to do her side a little faster. Then, when the male was outside, she then heard the familiar voice of Shiro called out of here. Hey Fu, catch! Shiro said, looking at here. Fu turned her head and saw that there were two tin cans coming at her. She caught it and looked at Shiro. What is this? Fu asked, looking at him. It's for you and Naruto. I took it out of the fridge. When he wasn't looking, I suggested you hide them before he comes back, and I suggested you of all people steal, Shiro said, looking at her. This caused the blonde that was the far side of the house and smiles. Thanks, Shiro. We owe you one, Naruto said, looking at him. Don't mention it, Shiro said. As he opened the door, however, before he could step into the house, the female of the team spoke up. Oh, and Shiro, could you do me a favor? Fu asked, looking at him. Sure. What is it? Shiro asked, looking at her. Mind splitting in one of his cups when he's not looking? Fu asked, looking at him. He's been treating me like his own personal butler for the past 3 days. Trust me, when I get the chance, I'm going to do more than just split it in, Shiro said with just a hint of evil in his eyes. Thanks, Shiro, Fu said as the male walked into the house and shut the door behind him. At this rate, though, we'll never get done. This is the last wall that we need to paint, and with a girl around to keep him from harassing us, we aren't going to be able to finish this wall. Fu thought, looking at the place she was painting. As soon as she thought this, the male walked over of the house and looked at them. I have to go somewhere. I trust that the three of you can finish this. Well, I'm gone, the male said, looking at them although he didn't wait for them to answer as he walked out into the streets. A few moments later, Guru appeared in a puff of smoke. Well, a cell phone in his hand. That should keep him busy for a little while, Guru said as he put the phone away. Now, if you don't mind hurrying up, Shibaku said as he wants to talk to us with this mission, Guru said, which caused the three of them to light up slightly. Giving me a minute and I'll help, Shiro said as he walked back into the house. And within a minute, the male walked back outside with a white apron that had kissed the cook. Shiro then climbed up the ladder that Naruto was on and saw that he was looking at him with a slight smile. I'm sure he won't mind me using it, the male said, looking at the blonde. The three of them were able to finish the mission that three of them had been assigned within an hour without the elderly male consistent harassment. Alright, we're done, Guru Sensei. Now let's go to Shibaku office, Naruto said, looking at the white haired males in front of him. The three young figures then started to walk towards the huge tree that was in the center of the village and began to walk up the large set of stairs. When the three went through the door, they saw Guru was already in the room, and Shibaku looked surprisingly serious. Ah, the three of you are here. Now, I assume that the mission had been rather interesting because of the villagers, Shibaku said, looking at them. Yeah, interesting is one way to put it, Fu said, looking at the male in front of her. I see. Well, I thought that is maybe happened. I wanted to apologize to the three of you for it. I've done something and also thinking and came up with what I believe a good apology, Shibaku said, looking at three of them. When he said this, the three grinned slightly and curious. Some thinking and come up with a I believe it's a good apology is, Shabaku said, looking at them. When he said this, a three grinned and started curious, looking causing Shabaku to smile. I've decided to give you three of along without an other team an A class mission, Shabaku said, looking at them. This causes the three that were in front of him all to grin and confused. Look at them very excited expression. After the three of them had the small celebration and had settled down, Shibaku looked at them and smiled. Alright. So the other team that you will be doing missions with, this team 7 from Konoha. Your goal is to investigate some rumors about the bandits that plans to use the hero's water, Shibaku said, looking at them. Alright, well, you can count on us, Fu said, looking at him. Yeah, we won't let you down, Naruto said, with a smile on his face. Alright, well, you'll be leaving tomorrow morning. It will be rigorous mission, so you will be there for a week until a new team show up to take your place. Team 7 is already there and currently in the village. However, chances are that you won't be meeting them until the morning. That begins said. Makes sure that you have everything that you need for tomorrow, Shibaku said, looking at them. The three then nodded and left. When the three left, Guru said at the male in front of him sighed. I still don't think they're ready, Guru said, looking at them. Maybe you're right, maybe I'm right. Either way, it's my call to make and I made it, Shibaku said, looking at the male. What if something goes wrong? Guru asked, looking at Shibaku. When the white-haired male said this, Shabako sighed and leaned back in his desk. I understand why you're worried. I really do, but if Fu and Naruto can get this job done, then that will give us them that much more of a positive reputation. Being the only first year getting team to complete A-rank missions in this village will at least make the villagers somewhat different. Plus, with you and Oi there, it shouldn't be too much for you to handle, Shibaku said, looking at the mail in front of him. Alright, if I think it's alright to call it, I'll trust your judgment, but I just want to go on the record by saying that I think this is a bad idea, Guru said, looking at him. Alright, well, Oi team has already been made aware of this, and I think that you'll be able to gather all you need before tomorrow, Shabaku said, looking at the mail in front of him. Yes, sir, Guru said, as he took a sake bottle out of his jacket and placed it on the table in front of him. Mind putting that somewhere else, safe, until I get back? I'd rather not be drunk while on this mission, the white-haired male said. As he walked out of the room, Shibaku smiled when he said this and took the bottle and placed it in his secret safe that he had under his desk. Nice to know that he cares enough about the nephew that make sure he doesn't die during this mission, Shibaku thought to himself as he watched the male walk out of the room. I just hope that Shiro will be more understanding that his father was at the age of Shibaku. The thought as he continued to fill out the small amount of paper that he had left. With Naruto and Fu, the two of them currently in their own rooms and were gathering everything that the two of them thought they would need for the mission that was ahead of them. Naruto sighed as he was tired to place another kunai in his back pocket and smiled when he finally managed to place it in a small pocket. Naruto then smiled, something that he hadn't smiled before. He followed the aroma into the kitchen and saw Fu was placing a plate full food on the table that the two of them almost never used. What is this? Naruto asked, looking at the food in front of him. Oh well, I thought since we are going to be gone for a while that I would make the two of something to eat so that we will have plenty of energy for when we leave tomorrow, Fu said, looking at the blonde in front of her. Well, it looks good and it smells great, Naruto said, looking at the plate of food in front of him. And he wasn't lying about, he said, the food that Fu had made looks amazing. Naruto was about to start eating when he noticed that Fu didn't make herself a plate. Oh, Fu, where's yours? Naruto asked, looking at the green-haired female. Oh, we sure of ran out of supplies, and I used the last of it to make this for you, Fu said, looking at the side, slightly embarrassed. Naruto looked at her slight surprise and then looked down on the food. How about we share it then? Naruto offered. Look at Fu. Oh no, I'd rather eat it then. Fu, been stuttering, began only for Naruto to cut her off. I don't want to hear it, Fu. I can't eat this knowing that you won't have any to eat unless we're sharing. I'm Naruto be stuttering too. I'm not going to eat it, Naruto said, looking at her. Fu sighed at this. She had forgotten how childish Naruto could be sometimes. Alright, Naruto, we'll share it, Fu said as she got one of the food and shared it, and got on in the seat. They had four and got any guess that they may have and pulled out it in closer to him. Naruto smiled at this and picked up a small amount of food before pushing it towards her slightly. Open it, Naruto said, looking at her. I can't feed myself, Naruto, Fu said, looking at him a bit annoyed. I know, but at least this way I know you're actually getting enough to eat, Naruto said, looking at her. Fu sighed and leaned forward slightly with a slight blush on her face. Took the food from the two pieces of wood that Naruto was holding. Naruto smiled at this, then took a bite of his own, and when he did, his eyes lit up with how good it tasted. This is really amazing, Fu, Naruto said as he got another bite ready for the female he lived with. You really think so? Fu asked as she once again took a bite from the blonde, only this time the blush had faded from her face. Yeah, this is amazing. You're going to be a make someone an awesome wife, Naruto said without thinking, and once he had realized what he said this, his own face turned red. He looked over to Fu, whose face was slightly red. I mean, that's if you ever get married. No, wait. That's not what I mean. I mean, if Naruto began only being cut off halfway, that his apology. It's fine. I know what you mean, Fu said, looking at him. Okay. Naruto sighed and offered an apology. Fu another bite of the food she had made. She took it another within a minute. Between the two of them, the plates full of the food was gone. Let's go to bed, Fu said, looking at Naruto. Okay, Naruto said as he and the green haired female walked up to the stairs. The two of them walked up to the spare rooms. The shut door behind them. Naruto had changed into his clothes that he slept with, was about to go to sleep when he heard a slight tap on his window. When he looked at his slide to see what was there, he saw a few raindrops going down to his window. It was raining. No real surprise there. Rains a lot here. A lot water in the country than it did in the other places. Naruto decided to ignore it. This is crawling into his bed. It was about halfway through the night when the storm started to become more powerful and bolt of lightning struck by the park and result crashing, throwing the two awake. Fu wake up in shock and spot up from her bed. It was lying in. She then looked outside and saw another flash of lightning, following by much quieter sound and thunder. Great, it's a storm. I hate storms. They always wake me up, and I can't never get back to sleep, Fu said, looking out of the window. She then sighed and began to walk towards the door. Maybe Naruto's awake, Fu said. As she opened the door and began to walk down the hall, little did she realize that Naruto had the same problem with her. He had awoken in a very startled state and looked out the window to see that the storm had gotten far worse than it was when he was gone to sleep. A storm didn't get many of those, Naruto said, as he was flash of light and heard a loud rumbling sound. Well, sleeping is nothing like this. Is going to be difficult, Naruto said, looking out the window. The blonde then received a knock on the door. He turned it and come in, Fu, Naruto said, looking at the door. How do you know it's me? Fu asked as she entered the room. We're the only ones that lives here, Naruto said, looking at her. Fair enough. So, Naruto, mind if I stay here with you for a little bit? Fu asked, looking at the mail. Sure thing. Something tells me I'm not going to be able to go back to sleep for quite some time anyway, Naruto said, looking at her and as if to prove his point. Another loud roar of thunder filled the house. Fu walked over to Naruto a bit faster than usual. When she heard this, scared the storm. Naruto asked, looking at the green-haired female. A light shade of red appeared on her cheek as she looked away from him. Maybe she's avoiding his gaze. Really? Naruto asked, a bit surprised. I didn't know that. I mean, we usually get storms a lot here, often when we were younger, and I don't remember you being scared of them back then. So why are you scared of them now? Naruto asked, looking at Fu. Well, you used to be a real heavy sleeper, and we shared the same bed, so you didn't notice when we were little. But at night, we had the storm and would used to hug you as a pillow. Fu said, looking at Naruto. Hug as a pillow? Naruto asked, looking at the green hair female in front of him. Yeah, hugging pillow. Are you for people? Who are you scared or upset? It's supposed to help feeling them better, Fu said, looking at Naruto's face, turning an even deeper shade of red. Naruto's face reflected this action and he looked at the ground. That was right. We used to share a bed back then, Naruto said, as still looking at the ground. Yeah, I guess we were strange kids, Fu said, looking at Naruto. I guess you could call us that, Naruto said, as he finally averted his gaze from the floor to her. As he looked at another bolt of lightning and a loud roar, the thunder followed behind it. Naruto noticed that Fu tensed up a little as this. I guess she wasn't kidding when she said that she was scared. Guess it's not that bad thing. Everyone got something they're scared of, right? Naruto thought to himself. Hey Fu, you know if you want to come and sleep with me? Naruto said, looking at her. When he said this, Fu looked at him slightly in surprise. When this slightly blushed on her face, Naruto, I don't think that's. Fu began, only for a loud roar of thunder cut her halfway. This time, when it did, the lightning that was on Naruto's room went out. Without thinking, Fu suddenly lunged towards Naruto and wrapped both of them's arms. He buried her face on his chest. Naruto felt her face on his chest, becoming warm, and looked down on the green-haired female. Man, her heart beats like crazy. I hope she can't hear it, Naruto thought. As she looked down at her, he then realized that Fu was shaking slightly. He wasn't sure that to do at the situation. Sure, he had seen Fu upset before, but even as they were growing up, he never seen her scared before. It was just a new situation and he had no idea what he was supposed to do in it. So he did the first thing that came up to mind. He placed her hand on her back. She slightly shook the female in front of her and held her close. It's okay, Fu. There's nothing to be scared of because I'm here. I don't care if it's a storm that ninjas or something even worse than them. You won't have to be scared of them because I'm here with you, Naruto said, looking at the female. The reason I haven't posted was because I lost an uncle, and no, he didn't have the virus. He had a lung failure, so that's why I don't have the motivation to post.